All right, folks. Before we start the show tonight, we're going to start off by uh, basically our friend Mark Kelly had a very tragic accident in his family, and he's a fan of the show. He's watched, he's participated in a lot of events. We really appreciate him in the community, and we just wanted to say our heartfelt condolences to you, Mark, and your family. We can't imagine what you're going through, and we're really sorry, and we hope it gets easier for all of you soon. So, cheers to your whole family, and we hope it, like I said, we hope it gets easier for you guys soon. So,
Yeah, cheers.
cheers. All right. Well, hello, and welcome to my Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king and a proud part of the Bar Cart Co-op. Before we go a second further, Mike, tell these people what they're supposed to do right now.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the bell notification to find out when new episodes are coming out. Please, if you're watching us live, interact with the nice people in the chat. If you're watching this after the fact, please comment down below. Give us some feedback, and don't forget to hit that like button.
Yeah. And you giggle, but really, Mike, you're the enforcer of the group. If you see us at an event, you're the big guy. So you got you got to take that.
I'm going to turn Emily loose on everybody. They'll have no idea what hit them.
That's true. That's true. So, well, good evening, everyone in the chat. Thank you for being here promptly on time. We really appreciate it. It's good to see each and every one of you. What are all of you out there drinking? Because tonight we're clearing out another small section of the Texas whiskey samples. We're going to have to keep doing this and doing it because it keeps going back. And most of them are really damn good. That's what makes Texas very appealing. So we have Milam and Greene and two real spirits. Where do you guys want to start this evening?
I'm going to recommend you start with the real spirits.
Damn it!
With the single barrel.
The other one.
Okay.
I cheersed with the other one. I'll put it away for a minute. All right. So I'm going to say that might have.
Yeah, I think a good order with this would be starting with the real spirits, the single barrel first, and then do the double barrel, and then on to the Milam and Greene.
Oh, double. Oh, that's over here. Too many barrels, too many bottles. All right.
But is there really though?
Maybe not.
Yes, there really is. there comes a point where it's just stupid.
And we've all crossed that threshold a long time ago.
I'm at that point.
Yeah.
Hey, Garrett, good to see you. And Neil, nice to see you pop in here as well, too. All right. I'm jumping into this one right now. Oh, damn it. I'm going to be honest. I have a weird question. Do you prefer nosing whiskey with or without glasses on? I do tend to clack, like I'll get in there if they're sitting down, and it's irritating. I'm going to be honest. Like, I just did it now, and I was like, man, I should have my contacts in.
I got a drinking problem. Kind of like that. There's safety glasses, Patrick.
It's kind of. Yeah, see, like that.
Wait till you get bifocals and you're trying to judge where the glass is at, and then you are doing this because you can't tell where it's at. It's coming. Trust me.
Okay. This is much brighter, fresher. A little bit of pear for me. Could mistake this for like a flat white wine almost.
Huh.
There's some earthiness to it. Okay, and what is
white
the
wine?
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm trying to see if I get it.
That's fine. Where the hell?
I mean, I get a vanilla cream, and there's a citrus, and then there's a cola that I get right off the bat.
Cola. When you say cola, you mean like a Coke? Or do you mean, okay.
Yeah. Not the cost of living allowance that most people are denied.
That most people are denied. Yes, that's true. I don't know, but very, I don't want to say dull on the nose because you're getting those flavors, but it's not jumping out at me. It's I don't want to say flat, but it's not very vibrant.
I can tell you my thoughts on this are not having had any real spirits before and having a preconceived notion with a lot of Texas whiskey of what I'm going to expect on the nose. This is not it.
Right.
It's I mean, it's not I don't get the thing that I call the dusty thing with Texas that I call like a buttered dust. I don't get that at all. I don't get any of the thickness or the aggression. It's just kind of thrown me off. Like I wouldn't guess this is on the nose. I would not guess this as Texas whiskey. Patrick's so upset he left.
Right. Just completely lost it there.
That's what happens.
So fun thing about this one. I got this bottle. This was, for me personally, one of my first experiences with Texas craft. This was a gift from a good friend of our show, Renita, and I was blown away with it from the first sip. So I just got this bottle, just opened it, took it to a whiskey tasting at a friend's house, and we had some stellar whiskeys that were poured that night. I mean, there was like some great, some fantastic Ardbegs, just a lot of different things, a lot of big heavy hitters. But the real standout for everybody was this one, and it's I'll show you the bottle right here. But it's a single barrel of the Real Spirit, so it's a single malt, and they're using an alembic still. And basically, this distillery, I got to visit there when we were in Texas. Didn't get to see the distillery part of it, but it's just housed in the back section of this ginormous brewery, basically. So Real Brewing down there, and in my opinion, they're just cranking out some really neat spirits, and this one was fantastic. So for me, it has a lot of dessert quality to it. I get a little bit of especially once you start to dig in on the palate. I'm curious to what you guys get. So I'm not going to throw out any notes yet as far as what I get off of it until y'all really work through it, and then we can talk a little more about it. But.
Hold on. There's some really nice spices. Everything's really nicely married together.
Oh.
There's a note I got to go back for that is like a high note, and I couldn't peg it yet. It was kind of honey and almost like grapefruity for a second.
Okay.
This could be what it maybe I ate something different before if I'm way off, but Okay. Whatever that little high note was kind of came down a bit. Wow. If you wouldn't tell me where this is from, I might lean more towards a real like a light scotch.
Okay.
There's a little like heathery note in there. Okay. What is it? Where did they age it? Like I'm confused because I like Mike was saying.
So, and I'll go into that. I have to find the email because it's been, like I said, I've been sitting on this bottle for probably a year and a half now, 2 years almost. But I emailed Real Spirits about this when I first got it, and they were very kind in their response. They broke down the mash bill, and just trying to remember, I think there's like 7 different malts that went into this, and there's a little bit of a peated malt that's in there as well. A small percentage of it is a peated malt. So some of that Scotch feel you get off of that, I think, comes from that. And the more one of these spirits that the more time it spins in the glass, the more things will start to unravel and unfold, and that peat will slowly start to emerge over time. It's just a nice kind of woody peat, or what you think with the Highland. But yeah, there's a lot of malt going on.
I've noticed that it's changing a lot, and I'm typically when we have these these samples or sample bottles are 2 ounces usually, and I usually a quarter to a half of an ounce is what I'm going to end up finishing this off. I'm 3/4 through this sample bottle, trying to get stuff out of it.
Right.
It's not that there's nothing there to get. It's so subtle. And again, if you put this in a blind, I wouldn't say at all in any way, shape, or form this is a Texas whiskey.
No.
Right.
No.
There is no Texas fingerprint on this at all.
Right. What I find neat is as it's drying out over my tongue on the finish, it's slowly revealing like fruit notes. Like at different parts. I want to know the other malts that they use. We'll have to look this up.
I'll have to find the email and pull that back up. It's somewhere way back from a while back, but
I know.
Yeah,
that.
no,
and
it's
the malt's really coming out now.
Yeah,
it's really coming out on the nose and definitely coming out on the palate.
No, it's delicate in the right kind of way, and there's a lot of nuance. I think a lot of complexity in there, and that's why this one, even though all the wonderful spirits I've had from Texas, from Iron Root to Balcones and Ranger Creek and everyone in between, I keep coming back to Real Spirits as being one of those gems that nobody really talks about that much. I mean, they are small. They're just literally a little alembic still in the back of a big brewery. And but what they're making is absolutely fantastic. And one of the things I got to try when I was down there, it's been over a month ago now. They made a Pachuga that was absolutely fantastic. And so the distiller, his name is Davin Topple, he goes out, shoots a wild hog, and they'll hang a hog leg up in the still and make their own Pachuga. And it's fantastic. So they're doing some really cool things. I love seeing that kind of experimentation and just stretching out to do some things that are different from what everybody else is. But as far as just making some fantastic malts, they're
I'm not normally excited
awesome.
about beer. I mean, in general, but with what you're getting out of here, and it may be based off of what the next one we're dipping into is going to be like.
Right.
I'd be intrigued to see. I don't know. I think they'll do a lot of different crazy stuff because of the size they have. But I'd be interested to see if there's like an underlying mash bill that they use, like percentage, like at least 40% of it is this, and it could be 60, and it changes for different things. But this is our favorite grain type of thing,
Right. There's a couple of their beers that they're using, I know, currently for making the malts, which I picked up a new bottle sitting back on the shelf when I was there a little bit ago. But I'm not sure where this mash bill fell in with that. If that was just a distinct mash bill they used for this particular single barrel batch, or how they did that. So, but I love it. I think it's great. I get a lot of the fruity notes. For me, there was a nice kind of a pastry note. I remember when we were tasting this one the first time with some friends, they kept coming back to there's like this cinnamon pastry and almost like a breakfast kind of whiskey, like these breakfast pastries and things like that. And your fat guy tasting notes there, Mike. So, but things that are just, it was like, man, if I picked out a breakfast whiskey, this might be it. This might fit the bill right here. So.
It's just a Scotch ale and a Belgian. Not when you started. Yeah. When I started saying that, I like Scotch ales. It is hard to find one when I find it, I absolutely love it, because there's a couple out there that I do, and I am getting that, especially on the sides of my tongue on the finish on this. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Much more nuanced and light than, like you said, than what I was expecting out of something from Texas. I don't care how long it was sitting there, like it's still pretty light. All right.
That's a very, very nice whiskey.
Yeah, you don't get that Texas funk like you normally expect from one, but it's just a gorgeous spirit.
Would you think closer to, I don't know, like a Virginia distilling, like their malt, like one of like when they blend with the Highlands or something?
I haven't had anything of Virginia that wasn't finished, so I think that'd be kind of hard for me to.
I've had their, when they first released their Conviction and Courage recently, which is, I think, 100% all their own distillate.
Mm-hmm.
That one actually put me more in mind of the Balcones lineage, as far as the real intense fruity, the juicy fruity notes that you get off of that. So this one, I don't feel like it's more of the Virginia.
Region.
I'd love to sit down. I've never done it and AB this with the Rua.
No?
I think they're different enough, but I think there's some nuance there to it that kind of puts it more into that category a little bit.
Yeah,
I guess
pastry, I would get that. Yeah.
I think the problem you're gonna hit is that's a little bolder though too, flavor.
I think the Rua is a little bit more bolder flavor wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this definitely. I mean, you would guess it as an American single malt, but not from Texas.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would definitely guess, maybe more northern or northwest.
Right.
I was going to go Pacific
just
Northwest.
because it's softer.
Right.
Yeah. I wonder what. Okay,
that's really good.
Into this because barrel wise, I'd think a 2 or something. I don't know. I'm all excited. Good for you guys.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing.
Got me intrigued.
Here's the fun thing. They're located right there near Blanco. Milam and Greene that we're going to be reviewing is literally right down the road. I mean, it's just like a couple of minute drive basically from Real Spirits, and just a little further down the road is Andalusia. They're all right there, real close to each other, all three. So
that's all right. Let's move on to the next one here. This double barrel, batch number 5, age 29 months. So, and this one's 46% too.
Yep.
Be interesting to see if most of them are at that 46% range on things. Okay.
So their double barrel, they have different batches they put out, and from my understanding, it's kind of a seasonal thing, and they'll use different barrels. So for the finishing, this particular one is batch 5 for those keeping score out there, bottle number 215, and they finished this one in port.
Oh, Mitch was just down there the last, like a week or two ago, and he's saying they were doing deconstruction because the brewery only let him adjust the mash bill by 15%.
Yeah.
So he's making 3 different mash bills and having to blend it together. Well, you got to get around it somehow,
right?
And they're at least accommodating him, but that makes it, in my mind, a lot more difficult. There was one that was a wheat in there as well too. You know what I mean?
I honestly, I'm sorry, I would not guess this as being. I'm you say port finished. I'm expecting something,
right?
And I'm not getting it. I'm not. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's some people. I don't want to say they overdo the port, but the port is extremely evident right off the bat, and then you get like I mentioned Rua before, the port monster,
right?
Just wonderful and beautiful and stuff, but man, this is it's like subtle as their thing.
It's got a gorgeous balance with the malt and the port, and that's one of the things I loved about this one as well.
Oh, if Emily is leaving, we'll say goodbye to the wrench. We'll have to deal with it. And a little cheers to you.
Good night, Emily. Have a good evening. Glad you could join us for a little bit.
I get a nice chocolate note off of this.
I get a little chocolate. I get a little bit of a peachy note. along with some orange and citrus going on there.
I'm trying to get the orange right.
One of my fat guy notes that I was getting off there is the Pillsbury orange rolls in the breakable can.
That's just what I was trying to get to. I'm like, there's orange, but I can't get this weird fake little smell of frosting.
It's orange, but it's not orange.
Exactly. Like it's
But the pastry thing I was kind of getting, because there was like a dense, more buttery thing to the pastry, and I was thinking kind of like a Dutch letter.
Like I'm not
something
getting
that's not flaky, just a very compacted.
It's not like density wise, I'm thinking cinnamon roll. Not flavor wise, but like density wise.
I love this one's got a nice almost like a ginger type kick, kind of tickles the roof of the mouth on the back end.
You can see that on the nose.
I'm enjoying that spice.
Nice ginger to the mouth.
Damn ginger's taking over everything in Texas. I almost snorted that, but the first drink was really neat. I'm gonna have to honestly go back and do this properly because that almost shot out the back of my nose.
We have to get a hold of Licorice Boys and tell them that should be one of their releases. that should be one of the Saints Alley, a ginger to the mouth. Should be hazmat.
Should be
absolutely should be hazmat.
Yeah, because it should like kind of burn out part of the inside of there. Oh. Oh. That was a whole different show.
Yeah.
And no, she did not, unfortunately. She's a pretty interesting lady, though.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of gingers.
Mm-hmm. It's like a medium to light viscous because you can sit there and chew on it for a while. Man. It takes a little bit for the pepper to kind of open up and the spices, but it never gets above like mid-level. It is clinging around on the finish to beat hell on that, though. Like the finish is nice and a little spicy. I'm back. This is another. So this is finished in port?
Yep.
Okay. I think the chocolate notes mixing a bit for me, and I'm getting like the fruits are shit.
It's got an interesting mineral note kind of on the middle to end too.
Yeah. I almost get chocolate covered cherry until you hit that mineral note.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the mineral note opens up into like baking spices and stuff for me.
See, the chocolate that I get on it is have you had like where someone adds chocolate to a homemade bread?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like what I get, where there's chocolate, like chocolate and grain mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Viking Bourbon? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in.
Man, these guys are like king of subtle with me. I really like it.
I'm intrigued. You know what I mean? I almost feel like this is a little like, I don't know, like Elevage. It's very cohesive too, not just subtle. It's complex with flavors, but it's cohesive. It's really interesting how they're getting from A to B here.
Look, I'm not going to disagree with you at all, Mitch, because like I said, ever since Renita first turned me on to Real Spirits, it's always been right up there as one of my top favorite Texas distilleries because what they're producing, and it's just really good. And yeah, I think with what he's got to work with, he's doing just an amazing job, and the spirits, they speak for themselves.
They do,
and that's what I have. And guys, y'all have killed me. I mean, I've been sitting on this for a while wanting to kill this bottle because it's so good, but I knew at some point we were going to end up reviewing this. And so I've been trying to hold on to the last little bit so we can review it.
But you said he's using an alembic still?
An alembic still, yep.
That's got to be what's pulling some of this stuff out, though.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How big is it?
I'm not sure. I don't know. So when I was there, Davin was not. So we didn't get to talk. Did not get to interview or meet with him. So we dropped in. We, had some sampled some stuff at the bar, got to see the brewery and whatnot. But maybe Mitch can answer that since he got to apparently got to talk with him. So.
Yeah. Once again, I would not have pegged this, even with this having a little bit, for me, a little bit more of a woody, a little more traditional feel. It does not have like that Texas hit for 29 months. I just don't. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Davin. Is that it?
I dig it.
Garrett's asking real spirits.
Yep. Hold on, I'll make you big, Ben.
Make me big, Patrick.
There it is.
Please do.
Big,
make me big.
Please, Betty Lee. Please do.
Chicka wow.
So there you go. Real spirits. That's the single barrel, and then this is the.
You know what? I like their label because it's simple.
It is.
It's nice, but it's not all crazy. It's not too crazy. It just looks nice.
So
yes,
Real Ale Brewing is the brewery, and Real Spirits is the distillery part of it.
Wow,
I'm very intrigued now. Two for two there. Those were both very interesting, and like Mike said, had you told me those were from Texas, I probably would not have believed you. I would have been wrong. Okay, with blind tasting, I'd have been fucking wrong.
I'm wondering, are they the only ones using an alembic style still in Texas? I would guess maybe.
I mean, I'm gonna guess maybe, but maybe not, because I mean the distilleries are blowing up all over Texas as far as the number of.
But you would have to really want to use an alembic,
right?
and one that's small. Renita says it's small.
It is.
I would think you'd have to want to do that. So you're not going for a ton of output.
Right.
No, that's true. And that would be intentional. Oh, and biking bourbon. I jumped you. Too many texts there popped in. He's sipping on an experimental from Northern Waters. Oh, we'll have to get in touch with them again.
Nice.
We had one of their experimentals. I think it was 7 or 17, and it was damn tasty.
Yeah.
I finished that off a little while ago. And they do some neat stuff out there too with what they're doing. But this is really I like this, man. I like this.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Renita's saying she hasn't seen any stills in Texas like that so far. So
and she's I think been to every distillery in Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
She is the Baroness.
And it has a nice creamy note to it. I would never guess a port on this one, but I really like what's going on here.
Yeah,
I could drink this for a while. Both of these are very interesting. I think the second one a little more vibrant, like a little more exciting coming at you, where the other one's a little more relaxed, where you have to go in and look for it. But I like them both. I like both of those.
Mitch was commenting about Andalusia. No, it's a pot still, and it is very unique looking, but I would not classify that as like a traditional alembic type still at all. It's got some unique geometry to it. I will say that.
All right, here we got one more tonight because we're cruising, but we're switching gears. As Ben said, we're going down the road.
Just down the road a little bit.
Just down the road.
Not very far.
Which makes this already a really nice, interesting stop. If you can hit 2 or 3 places in a day or two from one point, you know what I mean? I'm a big fan of that.
That was really cool. So we went down to Andalusia, then stopped in at Real Spirits, and then headed over to Milam and Greene. And it was all just, within a short hop of each other. So if you're planning a trip down that way, definitely you want to check out all three.
Yeah, Alan, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Probably. So Alan says it, and you're like, well, you're probably right, Alan.
You're probably right.
Well, someone's got to give him shit.
Pat's going to have to check some references first.
Right. Go read some manuals.
Hey, he made it on the show the other, the absinthe show. I've had to re-vet him.
Yeah, got to vet him.
I did. He passed. So what's going on with this one? It's a straight rye.
So straight rye, finished in port from Milam and Greene. So interesting story with these, this whole distillery, the journey they've taken from originally, I think Ben Milam got this going. Heather Greene joined in, and then they've got Marlene Holmes, who used to be with Jim Beam. Kentucky native has come in as their head distiller. So they're distilling some of their own, but they're also sourcing and bringing in, I think, like some Tennessee and some Kentucky whiskeys. And they're doing some blending things with their bourbon and rye, and then doing a little bit of finishing. So got to stop in there. Nice little place. Went through a flight of their bourbons. Was interesting. Some of their spirits. But this was the first bottle I got to try from them. So curious to see what you guys think.
All right. I'm watching it out because I had this first, and I was really pleasantly surprised. I think the last one from Milam Spirits that had the double barrel kind of had a little more life. But before I got to this one, so I wanted to wash it out a bit here. So.
Right.
Sweet. Dina's tasting with us right now.
Good deal. And I got these cool little
Cookie.
Milam and Greene glasses to taste with here.
Yeah, we have fancy pants.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
Yeah. A special glass for him.
Sometimes.
That's what happens when you get to go on a vacation. Travel all over Texas,
right?
And Colorado, and like 20 other states.
I will not apologize.
That's why you're my friend. All right.
Okay, I'm trying to get past is the faint. It's faint, but it's sticking out enough that I keep going across it. There's a putty. There's just a putty thing on the nose that I'm getting. That's just a plasticky putty that for some reason I keep getting. And I was nosing this before the show, and I was getting the same thing.
Okay, I get that at a certain point on the nose in there, and I see what you're talking about. For me, it's almost not like putty, but we've talked about it on the show before, where you get the modeling glue kind of thing, the model airplanes, the little cement.
Yeah, but not the heavy.
For me, it's kind of like
not
that.
The acetone, Bernie.
No,
I'm gonna get messed up on this. Lenny Bruce.
I get that. Yeah, I get that if I move
smell
the
of glue
glass
on model parts.
I was gonna say I get more, almost like a gingerbread kind of baked note. But when I move the glass like that, it allows a little air to come in and out, and that's when I'm getting a little bit of that flat, clean note. I get what you're talking about. No, not like Rubbermaid.
Yeah, Tim, he also ate paint chips and lived under high power lines.
I did build a lot of models.
He
built
grew up
a
with
lot of models and built a lot of slot cars too.
The trifecta.
So I get a lot of classic rye notes to a degree. I mean, I smell it. I'm instantly, yeah, this is rye. It's a little bit more subdued. It's not like in your face with dill or anise or anything like that, but it's there. And for me, it almost presents more like a little bit of a spearmint.
I got that high note on it, yeah.
Yeah.
But only that's right, and for me, it's in the front of the nose, and not on the back one through right now. I'm getting the I feel like the port finish on this, like almost like the musty cellar note. It's not heavy, but it's like faint. It's like right as like you open the door to it, not before you go down into it. And I feel like that's dampening some other flavors that are in here for me.
I kind of feel like that with this one. Like the port almost holds everything back a little bit in a way.
I feel like there's edges of things that want to come out of here, but I'm having to like really get into it.
And Garrett, I don't think you're wrong. I'm pretty sure with some of what I taste in here, there's definitely some Dickel in the mix. At least I picked that up.
That's going to throw somebody off.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's just for you, Kevin.
Okay. That flat note, I think, was kind of the eucalyptus on this. For me, that's a semi-prominent note at least. That kind of opens up. I'm getting a lot of that right now. I think I'm coming back to this again another night because I had this first and I thought the port was way more pronounced.
Right.
I think the other two kind of laid that down a bit on this one right now from just what I had earlier. That's all. Jamie, Kevin, you and your Flintstone vitamins.
Man, for me, the palate is way different.
Mm-hmm.
From the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
I like
chocolate, caramel, vanilla, baking spices. First part of it feels kind of light, oily wise, but sticking around.
So I like the way the oils in this present. I mean, they really coat the palate well. But it's a little bit of that kind of rye note right off the top, and then there's chocolate and the orange for me. And this is probably where if they're using some Dickel, where that comes in, but it's almost like, I won't say not quite like Tang, but it's almost like some kind of orange powdered drink mix kind of thing going on. It's not like a real orange; it's like artificial kind of orange, and then you get this spearmint thing rolling in between that orange, that artificial orange, that chocolate, and spearmint.
Like a powdered drink.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you open the bucket or the pouch for a powdered drink.
Like the way Tang was originally done.
And
almost
it's
even
weird,
like if you're mixing your own orange Gatorade.
It's not a sweet whiskey, but it's like a sweet oiliness to it.
Mm-hmm.
The coat, there's just something there, something extra with the coating. And then it just carries on. I mean, there's just like, it's light on the palate, but it lingers.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. I was thinking more holiday whiskey, but I'm not getting as much of I'm getting fruit flavors, but I'm not getting as much as what I would recognize as port. You know what I mean? Like as boldness, like it's. I almost question if it's like a second or a third fill on the port. Like you already did it once, or something else happened, and you're coming back again to it because. I'm looking for those flavors, and the chocolate and some other stuff, yeah, but I'm not getting some of the berry notes that you usually, you traditionally get with it in my mind.
Right.
So
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what's
a lot of
throwing me
port
off.
finishes. Yeah, a lot of port finishes kind of put you in mind of like a holiday whiskey or something you want to enjoy with Christmas or Thanksgiving. This is not necessarily in that category. Not for
No,
me.
I
I
would
mean,
have
it's
a
the
hard
rye.
time. I'm having a hard time thinking of pairing this with a food
Right.
because it doesn't. I don't want to say flat, but it just kind of it levels.
Hmm.
But then it does finish. I mean, the finish kicks in and it carries, but it's not. There's not something exciting about it.
Right. So that's
I,
what it hits the mouth, and there's like this big burst of flavor, and then it just kind of goes, and then you're
Mhm.
just left with these lingering. I guess the oils and all it just lingers, and you've got this finish that carries on and on and on with it. And that's where, for me, that's where most of the flavor's coming from. Is off the finish more so than really
Mhm.
the impact of the spirit.
Yeah,
So
I would definitely agree with that.
there's a second where there's just a little bit like of an anise and spice pop that happens for a second, and it goes away. But that I'm not a big fan of. I don't
mhm.
know.
So
I think
I
it got aggressive. The rye got aggressive for a split second, where the rest
Right,
of it isn't like that. That's all. I think that's the best way to say it.
right,
and this is another if this was a blind three sample blind tonight, no way would I pick any in Texas. And you've got you've got this bottle of Milam and Greene because
yes,
I'm
I
going to
can see it
assume
more.
I'm making an assumption, not to offend. The Unlike the real spirits, I would assume this one does not have the certified Texas whiskey sticker on it.
no, it doesn't because they're sourcing. You know, it's
Okay.
they're bringing in whiskeys from outside of Texas, and they're blending.
Is Christmas in a rye? I don't know what that means. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He's talking about Midwinter Night's Dram
Oh,
Not my
is
whiskey den.
is Christmas in a
oh.
rye. Yeah,
So I was confused. Like, what the hell? I'm like,
which
I've only
which
had
he
3
is not
drinks. What's
wrong.
going on?
He is not wrong. I had one bottle of that, and I
Oh
save
yeah,
it now. It's literally I save that to pull out at Christmas now.
Mhm.
yeah. It is. It really fits what it's one of the few things they do that really fits what it's doing, and you have it, and you're like, okay,
Right.
you 100% nailed it. Even different variants and stuff from year to year, but they nailed it. Um, which one here? Which one's your favorite? Do you guys have a favorite this
I
evening?
do.
All right, Mike, do you have a favorite? Or should we give you a second?
No, I think I do.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I think the single barrel is my favorite.
The single barrel, the first. Okay, the
Yes.
first. Okay, Ben, where are you at?
Yeah, same thing. That single barrel to me is just that's an exceptional whiskey. I really like that.
All right, hold on here.
The port finish is fun, but the single barrel is the one that just there's just so much complexity and nuance.
Okay, 2 different things. I'm gonna say I like the double barrel better because I like it a little punchier, more exciting. That is not to say that the other one. It's a different trip. You know what I mean? It's probably a different day
Hmm.
for what you're looking at. Just because it is lighter, but it is respect. It is extremely complex for what it is. I mean, there's a lot going on in that whiskey. So I just like a little more. I don't mind a little.
Oh, well, hello. Hey, Callie.
Hey, wait. You should say
She's
goodnight to
gone.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's because your earphones, you can hear shit. We can't influence her.
Nope.
Otherwise, I would.
Good thing you can't influence her.
Yeah, it was, and that's why it was my whiskey of the year, Alan. You mentioned unpretentious. That was mine last year. Yeah, it was. And I lean into that type of thing. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the double barrel. I get what you guys are saying. I respect that. I just liked a little bit of more excitement in the other one.
Sure.
But it is the most confusing. Yeah, I think
Probably
that
not wrong.
was the most confusing because it really did taste like something that wasn't American almost. I would, like I
Right.
said, I would have slid that into like a Scotch realm, So that was the best. All right, now one other thing here. I'm not paying
Got to do the
attention in the
blend
chat.
too.
I'm working on it.
Yep.
I'm going to add a little bit more of this one back into it because that's not fair. Now, we also have
Kevin sliding in with the snipe.
Well, Santa, maybe needs a little help every now and then. He's gone on that whole time frame that time of year.
Unpretentious got you with Mrs. Claus and the rest of the elves.
That's right.
All right. Now, I got the blend, and before we get going here tonight, our next show is going to be next Monday. Is it November 1st? It will be the end of Alan Bishop Advent. It started a week and a half ago on October 20th, National Alan Bishop Day, over my bourbon turntable. Then we got this lovely cocktail. I'm going to leave it up here for a minute because I want you to take a second and read it. It sounds scary. I know it does, but it's time to go.
I gotta find
shopping.
I gotta find Malort, and there's nothing that is comparable.
I forgot about that. Hold on, I'm putting that in my phone right now. But rumor has it this is actually pretty tasty, and I'm excited to see how it plays out.
I will be getting McRibs. I'm sure that there's
am.
probably going to be a stupid line of people.
That's
but
my
I will
problem.
at least get a McRib
for the evening.
If you cannot get McRib, just take some Vienna sausages, dip them in barbecue sauce, and throw them on a bun with a pickle, and you're probably
That's not
good to go.
fair. That's a totally different sandwich. What are you talking about?
Little Smokies in a crock pot with grape jelly and barbecue sauce.
Oh, the grape. Yeah, see, there you go. There's a twist, the grape jelly. So there's other ways you can participate. But yeah, if you do end up getting the McRib and you get the Merlot, which you can drink straight as a shot or in the cocktail, which I recommend. Hell, man, we'll put up the link in the chat. Come on in. Come on in tonight. Share in the Bishop Festivus dinner. You know what I mean?
Kevin.
What?
The bourbon turntable comment.
Are you sure? Well, that's just too bad. For those
we did just talk about we talked about some allocated, not quite fast food tonight for people that get Quiznos, which we used to have them everywhere, and now there's only I think the closest one is like 40 minutes away from me. They have a bison Reuben.
What? That actually sounds pretty good.
Now you're getting on the level of when Arby's about a year or two ago, people that have Arby's, they had like a duck sandwich.
Yeah.
But it was only certain places got it. And I was scrambling to all the Arby's around trying to find the duck sandwich.
And there was I think Arby's had a bison something too. But we that my son went over. I can't remember what they have. And he ran over to the one he can get it to and tried it.
Talking about food, y'all. The Benton's breakfast at Highwire this weekend. Oh my God.
Okay, sorry.
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. The country ham, the bacon was freaking phenomenal. And then they had these
I was with you in spirit.
Massive, thick sausage patties. And Mrs. Benton actually made the biscuits herself that morning, which were amazing. Literally just nothing but buttermilk and flour.
Part of me is tearing up, and I'm so frustrated.
And then they had like I think it was like a lingonberry preserves, and so put that on the biscuit along with the sausage and the country ham together.
We all got.
Yeah, it was. And then they had slices of cured ham. It was just all freaking phenomenal.
Did they kick him off the show right now? No,
I am jealous, but I did have chorizo and eggs by a campfire on Saturday morning, so I didn't feel so bad.
and you had the donkey part too, so no complaining.
Oh, that Asylum was so good. It was really,
Yeah.
really good. And I was expecting to be horizontal from that. No, man, that was a very nice, flavorful. In fact, I bought more.
Excellent.
They had a pack
If anybody
of
does
different.
not know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. He was enjoying a
Look at
cigar
that.
camping. That's
Well, hold on. Just if I'm
talking
if
about
you're gonna
talking about a
show it,
hog leg.
yeah.
It's a size
Right.
80 by like 6 inches. And they have some
Right.
bigger.
The Asylum ogre.
Only 6. I saw Andy take on a 12.
Well, Andy had a cigar.
This has the girth on that one.
But that one, this is bigger. They have a sample set called the Lockjaw set. But it was good. I mean, it was honestly, it was a really good cigar. It was really good.
So
Ben,
there's the legendary donkey.
Yes.
There's the ogre in comparison.
Oh,
yep.
So
yeah. It's scary in general. Hey, do you have the bottle of Benton's whiskey ready in your hand?
It's on the shelf right behind me over here on the wall.
Yeah, that for those who don't know, we brought it up. They aged their corn in the Benton's like wrappings and then smoked it in the Benton's smokers with the ham, and then made that into a new make. It is outstanding, and maybe a feature and a tasting coming up around Distill America time.
Right,
you might get a chance if you're in the Madison area, you might get a chance to taste that weekend. Sir, I'm just trying to get you there.
And Adina and Dave, big cocktail fans you are. It's fantastic for making some cocktails. I had a Bloody Mary with it while I was there with breakfast. That was absolutely fantastic. Had some of the Benton's candied bacon in the Bloody Mary.
Trying just not to curse you the whole time you're talking. Seriously,
but it's a really good spirit, and kind of in the mezcal category is where I would put this as far as flavor wise profile. But they do have some barrels aging, so that will come out later.
It'll be neat to see where that goes.
Yeah.
So,
and you guys are talking about Andy, and Alan's mentioning Andy. I did send pictures to Andy, and this morning we were talking about that very cigar. and he has agreed to take one on the next time we're in the same zip code.
I love that. Take one on.
and I will be videotaping it just like the last videotaping my phone, whatever.
Right.
But
he'll be sick. You gotta just encourage him to go faster on it. Make him think it's an hour. Sick. It's an hour-long smoke instead of like a 3-hour smoke.
Right.
Okay, I've already tasted this, the blend of all three. Yeah. I like the nose way better than the palate.
What's interesting on the nose for me is I get a little bit of a almost a tobacco note coming off of that. That's really cool. But for me, I think the blend, the port kind of starts to stand out a little bit more than it does on the other individual whiskeys.
Yeah,
the Milam and Greene.
Crazy.
Is Pat freaking out?
Yeah, what's going on?
Freaking out. Like, I don't know what's going on. Whatever, it's okay.
You got spotty.
Oh, my connection is unstable for some reason for the first time in 2 years.
Me too, connection.
Yes.
Me too.
All right, so next Monday, stop in. It's going to be a fun show. Hey, that's all we're going for that show. And then after that, we have something we're going to have to address. We haven't done it yet. I'm going to spin down I got to get it in November. So if that's the first, I think it's the 8th. We're quiet about stuff. We don't usually. Mike's talking. He's fucking. Come on, we want to know what she's saying.
The ghost is there.
Tell her to come on in. Tell her to say hi. Did she get
Margaret.
tossed? Did she get tossed the other day like she was supposed to?
I didn't toss her. No,
What the fuck?
it was a threat.
Come on. Now that's
It was a threat.
That's
Marge,
good
come here.
television.
Hi, Margaret.
No.
Yep, everybody wants to say hi.
Why? Who's on there?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Your friend.
6,000 people. Come here.
Oh my
That's right.
God, no.
Only for a minute. See, you're good.
Hi, Margaret.
Hey, he didn't toss you the other day, did he?
No, I didn't toss her. I should do that later.
What?
Because remember, it was National Toss a Small Person Day.
Shut up. It's your fault that I'm small.
Whatever.
You made me. That's your fault.
Right. Mike the Giant.
I'll give you the last
All
ride.
your
That will
fault.
always be your fault.
All right, I'll give you the last ride.
No.
So we have a birthday buddy of ours. Speaking of the day of Andy and the donkey and all that, Mr. DJ Henderson, happy birthday to you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know DJ's CB handle because he has to have
Right.
one, real or imagined. Alan, give him other than Hammerlane Henderson. He's got to have a CB handle.
So
Mm.
we better hurry up.
All right.
So, oof. So, that's what I was getting at before we got distracted by tossing short people, which I was afraid of for that day.
Your time is coming, Patrick.
Right.
Hey, dude, if you toss me at Distill America, I will be impressed. All of a sudden, someone just gets launched.
Who just went flying out the window?
What the hell was that?
I bet it depends on where you did it. I bet if we did it in front of Blom Brothers, if they're there, they'd be all over it.
Oh, yeah. All right. So the 8th, November 8th. Like I said, we don't talk too much about it. We don't push a lot of things. Quietly, we snuck over the 500 mark for subscribers. I think we're a little bit over it now, but I think we should celebrate. We don't we don't throw too much in that way. We know we're in a hard section for people to get into because it's not always easy to get, but we want you to seek it out like the allocated stuff that you can't fucking get anymore anyways. So this was the better option. We've been telling you for years. Now go do it. Just get on it. So on the 8th, we're going to celebrate having 500 subscribers. So on YouTube, now I can post polls. Like if we were having a tasting, what size pours do you think are good? An ounce, a half ounce, a quarter ounce. We can start polls now. We can start asking all sorts of fun questions for things coming up in the future. But that'll be the 8th.
And we could probably come up with some interesting samples to share.
That's true.
Because we've got stuff. I still have. There's a lot that still need to make their way to you guys. But then there's one. Well, you guys are supposed to be getting your own, but
Yeah, sure.
maybe I'm sure he would not mind. But our friend Will Persons
Ooh, apple pie.
did send. Well, we could probably do an apple pie or do some of the real spirits, old time spirits. But they have, he sent me some unaged cherry brandy.
Oh,
And I've still got to get some samples to you guys. I could probably send a sample to somebody else too, but you have to post notes.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
That's
That's
the key.
right. I
He
like that.
wants notes.
He wants feedback, and that's the best
So, yeah.
way to get it.
Yeah.
I could do that. We could do different drawings and stuff.
Yeah.
Could be fun.
We'll refine it over the next week. We will. We'll get into it more at that point. We'll break it down.
Yeah.
Oh, so I don't know. I think I'm good. Sorry. Once we get.
What was your final? You guys' final thoughts on the blend?
My blend was not very exciting.
Oh.
It had too much eucalyptus, too much, a little bit of anise, too much clay note in it. I don't know. It didn't blend well for me. Probably my percentages that I had left over.
So there was a little bit of a tobacco note on the nose that I enjoyed, but I felt like the port really came out more in the blend than it did on each of the other two that are port finished. But the overall, the rye kind of takes over from Milam and Greene for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. I had pretty damn even amounts of each one. The Milam and Greene really took over the blend. The qualities of Milam and Greene took it over because it was like the way that the Milam and Greene finished.
Right.
It was that up a couple of notches, but it was the same way, 100% through.
Yeah.
But the nose was great. I really liked the nose on it.
Mine gets like a weird toothpastey, aqua fresh thing going on.
That's
what we should do for a theme show. Toothpaste, then sample.
And whiskey, right? which toothpaste pairs best with this whiskey?
Gotta do a mouth rinse.
Oh God, Listerine. And like old school Listerine, not like the mint flavored and all that crap.
Oh, the one that like just straight up burnt.
Yeah.
The one they outlawed. Yeah.
You came out, you're kind of drooling a little bit on the side of your cheek,
right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was lidocaine in that. I'm not quite sure.
There's a lot of numbing going on. This was Ben got all these samples. This was a great fun lineup, and I was extremely impressed and surprised how all three, I understand all three are not Texas whiskey, but man, they'd be really hard to pick out. I don't think you could pick these out in a blind as Texas whiskey at all. Real spirits, super interesting.
Super light, really cohesive, blended well. Like, I mean, iron root well. Like a different style as far as like punch of flavors and stuff, but like very seamless transitions. You know what I mean? And hidden flavors. I gotta say those two really kind of took me tonight. That was a big surprise. So
yeah.
But a hell of a stop, and if you get this Andalusia, that's a hell of a stop for a weekend or a day. Go see 2 or 3 of them. That's fantastic. I don't think you can beat that with inside of 5 miles.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff people like us dream about.
Hit all 3 before lunch and see how you're feeling.
Sounds like a good plan.
It does. It sounds like it's going to be barbecue and a nap. That's what it's going to be.
Right? Which, as if I remember right, I think that was the plan. We ended up heading towards Treaty Oak and enjoying some nice barbecue out there at Treaty Oak before touring and sampling some things there. So
nice.
Yeah.
Good trip.
Yeah. Oh, next weekend? I don't know. You have to look it up because I can't remember exactly, but it is a single barrel strength blue corn whiskey, I think, from Woodhat is released next weekend.
It's legit. I was going to write them about it because 100% blue corn cask strength. And then they had release too.
Yeah. I mean, you could order from, you can call an order from Woodhat and they'll hold it for you if you're going to do it. But I mean, if it's Woodhat, it's good. I mean, let's just face it. It's good.
Right. When you have 70 different varietals of blue corn in Oaxaca, that's all yours. I mean, it does get a little exciting, you know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. If it depends.
I like that.
I may have to make a day trip to Iowa or 2-day trip to Iowa that weekend when it's being released. But yeah, I do want to pick that up. It's got to be good.
Yeah. So I want to give a quick shout out to Renita. Thank you for taking me on the tour. You and Josh Gardner and Yolanda taking us around in Texas when I was there, getting to see these great places. And again, thank you for introducing me to Real Spirits in the first place. The Milam and Greene actually got picked up for me before my trip by Tim Adams, a good friend of ours in the tribe, a good Texas auto, and brought out here last year when he came to visit. So thanks to those two, definitely, Josh.
Yeah.
Again, great time I had with you guys. So
yeah, lucky. All right.
Okay. I'm going to say this. The whiskey people are the best people.
They are,
like ever.
100%.
and I camped this weekend, and I took a lot of samples that I'd been saving, because I don't always go through all 2 ounces, but I took them to people that they don't know this stuff, they can't get this stuff, whatever. And we did sample roulette, where it was like, all right, I'm ready for a sample, and I just reached in and blindly pulled it out, and then just give it to somebody. And everybody, and it was all stuff we've had on the show that we've done in the past. Everybody was absolutely happy with everything that they got. And they're like, wow, this is this. I've never heard of this. That's kind of the whole point. We haven't heard of this stuff.
Right.
And they don't send us this stuff to talk about. We buy this stuff. It's stuff we like, and it's really good whiskey. But everybody was impressed. All these things they can't just go to the store and buy, but they love it and they want to seek it out. And I think that's great.
And that's so much of what this whiskey community is about. Yes, allocated can be very difficult to get a hold of. Craft, yes, it can be difficult, but it's much easier to achieve and to access than so much of your allocated stuff. So I had a few couples over yesterday. We did some blind flights. A lot of it was craft. I had some Scotch and Irish and different things in the mix too. But at the end of the day, that was kind of the question. It's like, well, how do we get all this stuff? And I'm like, it's actually not as hard as you think. Number one, wherever you live, there's going to be some craft distilleries that you can access and get to. Now, the stuff you see us sampling that comes from all over the country here, it's not hard nowadays to get into some chat groups or whatever, make some friends, and you guys start trading bottles. I'm not going to tell you how to do the bottle swaps.
He didn't say that.
Yeah. But you can get bottles and, trade around, or there's things called PayPal and Venmo and Zelle and all that stuff. So there's ways to do this that is a lot easier than what it was 5-10 years ago. And even
this a year ago,
more accessible. Yeah. And it's more accessible than any of the allocated stuff. You make some relationships, make some friends, and it's easy. It's a lot easier to.
And you know what? And this isn't. It's not people sending you stuff in the mail or stuff. People can tell you where to get it. Look in the chat here. John Chingley had posted earlier about Andalusia has figured out, because you can't ship out of Texas, because Texas is great. But they have figured out to get it to a place in Florida, which will ship it to basically anywhere. Florida and Washington D.C. will ship it to. Yeah. They'll ship it to somebody living under a bridge.
They don't give a shit. Yeah,
they don't care. There are no laws in Florida, and Washington D.C. is full of dickheads. But they'll ship anywhere.
Yeah. And I love when everyone's
that's what's important.
It is, and you got to find people like that, because there's only really 7 reciprocal states, and so anyone who's shipping to more than that is kind of full of shit.
Yes,
just be happy they do. Let's just leave it at that. The hope is no one looks, and everyone now wants to look the other way.
If you want something, get a hold of that distillery, because they might know some place outside of their state that will do it. They all know, they all have means, they all have ways. If you want it, you can find a way to get it.
Even in state, when I got the Northern Waters, someone was coming through town, and I was talking to both of them.
Exactly.
He was coming to Green Bay, and he came up and dropped it off for me.
That's
how you meet people. That's how it gets exciting.
Like my trip to Texas, I first was in Kentucky, and before that in Indiana. And so when I made my way to Texas, I had a trunk slam full of cases of spirits for people who were wanting things that they couldn't get here in Texas. There's mules, people make trips. I got this. Buddy Tim drove all the way out here to South Carolina from Texas and brought us all a bunch of Texas whiskeys. So there's ways to do it. Don't sit back in your chair and think there's no way I can get that. No, if you want it, it's not that hard to make a little bit of an effort, and it will pay off. I trust you.
And
trust me on that.
our friend Gary that we mentioned, there's a line of people that make standard routes. Like, if I'm in I'm in this state, well, there's someone who makes a run all the time, just driving back and forth across, and they go to Denver, and they know that they're going to be picking stuff up. They can help. I mean, you can find ways to get this stuff.
Right.
And it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it.
I want to be honest. It's like finding the hidden gem, the diamond in the rough. You're like, oh, did I ever,
Right.
And that's the best part about all. Like you said, Ben, that almost everything you handed out, people were excited about.
Yep.
That's fantastic. You too, Mike. That's the best part when you turn stuff around on people like that. So,
yes.
All right, but we're over an hour, and we should get going. We'll let these people get going with their night, because I think there is over on Whiskey Crusaders, they're celebrating Will and Sarah's 14-year anniversary with 14-year-old whiskeys. So stop out there, check that out. They're going to have some actually pretty good ones. I saw some that we've had on here.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely stop over there and check them out. Otherwise, I don't know if the Hood Sommelier and the Single Barrel Snob are still on, but otherwise they have a show on Monday nights called Monday Sucks. Part of me really agrees with it. I really do like I really do like the name.
Speaking of Monday Sucks and the Hood Sommelier, Ben, you guys got something coming up?
So, well, I personally ended up missing out on the recording last night because of just some stuff that was going on here at home. But yes, we did record a show. Kevin and Drew got to record with Tim and Jack with Monday Sucks. And so that will be coming out here soon. Should be a lot of fun talking music with those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Bourbon Turntable, in case I didn't mention it. So,
well, and if you didn't, and no one happens to know what's going on, they should, because this is the logo. Get on over there. Take a second. You can use your magic fingers to open up another screen. Go over there, hit subscribe. You can come back.
Do you like music? Yes. Do you like whiskey? Yes. You like learning about music while you drink whiskey? Yes. There you go.
Yep.
Do you like to debate things while you're drinking whiskey and talking about music? Has it brought you to the point where there's almost been fist fights, but then you brought it back down? This is the show for you. I got my bottle ready. I don't know if everyone else does, but
are we doing that? Okay.
Sure, why not?
All right.
You know what upsets Red?
She was not a fan of that last time.
All right.
Which is all the more reason to do it.
All right.
Okie dokie.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, everyone. Thank you for stopping in. We really appreciate you stopping out and spending some time with us. Next Monday, really fun show. That's all it's going to be, is fun and hijinks. And after the show after that, 500 subscribers. We'll be giving stuff away and having some other good times that night too. So remember, it's not the size of the end that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Down the hatch.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Just give some more.